Let's do this.
Fresh Market Pharmacy has expanded to customers with its new additional location at best price. Two convenient locations on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard and at Best Price Riverbank. Fresh Market Pharmacy provides over-the-counter medication, health and personal care, prescription drugs, and natural supplements. Our experienced pharmacists and technicians provide the best quality services. Call 225-6883, 255-6875. WhatsApp 316-0310. Your prescription bill just got lowered.
Somebody who creole, baby, creole. Mouvement créole à Soukir. Tout le monde créole pour attention. Comité pour études créole Dominique. Et puis Radio QFM qui a présenté Mouvement créole. Tous les mardis soirs, 6 après-midi. Information, blague, interview, l'histoire, proverbe, discussion, reportage, apprendre à parler et puis écrit créole. Lien avec ton peuple créole. Bon musique créole. Mouvement créole. À nous fait un rendez-vous, messieurs, mesdames. Tous les mardis soirs, QFM qui est frappé avec bon parole créole. Sans ça participer, qui est nous rapidement Timamaina, Mouvement créole à seconde station QFM. Watchez avec nous tous les mardis soirs 6h pour Mouvement créole. Matchez ça.
Dominicans, Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till your flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business running out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseville. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
Attention all bakers and loyal customers of Ether Trading Limited. We've got a big news you won't want to miss. Ether Trading Limited is pleased to announce massive price reductions on your favorite Carigold brand flowers. That's right, prices like you've never seen before in Dominica. Now available at unbeatable prices. Carigold Baker's Flour, 25 pound, 50 pound and 100 pound bags. Carigold whole wheat flour, 25 pound, 50 pound and 100 pound bags. Carigold multi-grain flour, 1 kg. Carigold rye flour, 1 kg. Carigold herb and garlic flour, 25 pound bags. Whether you're baking for business or just love fresh homemade goodness, now is the time to stock up. Visit us today at Caneville Industrial Estate or the corner of Kennedy Avenue and the Bayfront to place your orders and enjoy these incredible savings. At Ether Trading Limited, we're proud to deliver only the best for our valued customers because you deserve nothing less. Remember, at Ether Trading Limited, we are making a difference for you.
This morning I got a voice and I wanted to share, but for some reason it appears that the people of the Salisbury constituency may be being punished. And if so, why is it so? Let's hear Councillor Ned making the appeal again to clean up the village.
Good morning, Matt. How are you, my brother? Matt had to run out of the village this morning, Salisbury Village. Matt, everybody on my back. It's not easy, you know, Matt. A guy volunteered to take out the garbage, you know. However, he told me he have to go and make some trip of sand for somebody first to make his daily living. Matt is chilling down there. I had to run out because everybody on my case when the rubbish coming out, I spoke to the solid waste woman. She told me they have got trucks. We're not getting government good time in Salisbury. We're not getting the good time. We're paying license. We're paying taxes. We're doing all what we have to do in Salisbury. All what we have to do in Salisbury, we are doing it. Matt, government needs, central government need to assist us now. No, more than ever. There are so many Chinese trucks all over the place. A lot of trucks all over the place. Send one to help us. Rats in the place smelling. By the school Salisbury where children go into school. Garbage are being faced with. Not if a government cannot handle the garbage problem. They need to get out of office. You cannot handle garbage where we're talking about leptospirosis problem. You cannot handle garbage. Get out of office. And I say that now. And I have no apology in saying that. Thank you very much.
All right, Dominic, so we heard it again. The people of Salisbury Bowie begging the authorities to, of course, clean up the community. Of course, we'll hear a lot of voices on the very subject of garbage disposal.
Good quality service. Unlimited walk-in. All the best products and best what you get the best prices. Florida is
Soft weave bathroom tissue, napkins, and paper towels.
Again, good afternoon to you. This is the Talk on the Block. tomorrow, is it tomorrow night? Yes. A big meeting has been planned. New York City, the Tri-State area, Connecticut, Brooklyn, the Bronx, New Jersey, Queens, New York. Everybody seems to be invited to a big meeting being planned with the United Workers' Party, its president, and some patriots on the ground. Mr. Zed Lloyd is one of the big organizers there on the ground there in New York. Mr. Lloyd, good afternoon to you. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Matt. I'm good. How you doing? How you doing?
Well,
Sad to hear about that Salisbury garbage, you know. But
sad to hear it, but I'm hoping that situation will be resolved. But we here talking about the big meeting planned for tomorrow with the leader of the United Workers' Party. What's on the agenda to of course, to discuss with the diaspora this time? I heard one meeting was held in Washington. What can you tell us?
Well, you know, the leader was, you know, visiting the States, and we felt it would be a good opportunity to, you know, have an introductory session with the diaspora, you know, those who can be in attendance and those who can listen from near and far. You know, it'll be streamed on Q95, it'll be streamed on CDN and also MO News, and those who can be there in person will have a personal chance to have a, you know, a meet and greet and discuss some important things regarding our development and the future under a Thompson-led United Workers' Party government.
What do you think for the diaspora is very important at this time?
I think the issue of electoral reform has created a sort of a divide between diaspora and local. And a lot of that has come out of the approach that the government took. I think we missed a good opportunity to have a good understanding between local and diasporans on this issue, and we could have solved it a whole lot better. But, you know, like I said, the government really just sees that an exploitative approach instead of a collective, you know, developmental approach. So that has to be addressed. I think letting the diaspora know the plans that they can play moving forward in our development, I think is critical. We have not really engaged the diaspora in a way that they should have been engaged. So I think a Thompson, you know, led initiative as Prime Minister is one that is going to, and he will outline those things and really how they can be involved, you know, in terms of our development. I think it's critical moving forward that they have a more productive involvement in Dominica's future.
You know, somebody just spoke to me just a minute ago before I come on the air, and basically in I think a positive, or some might describe it as a negative, some negative vibes there, that the leader and its party, meaning the United Workers' Party, the leadership of the party, should spend a little more time, not with the diaspora, but on the ground. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that is most definitely. That's not an option. That's not. It's not like a, you know, it can't be. It's not an exception thing. It has to be done. And I think you've seen the party getting together, laying down the groundwork of a unified front, and so there's work. And I think on the return of the leader back in Dominica, I think you're going to see a new blueprint, a collective approach, you know, meetings, you know, discussions with the people. I think you're going to see a new blueprint. From what I've been hearing from behind the scenes, there's going to be a new blueprint moving forward, and a collective blueprint to a welcoming of, you know, I think it's going to be a different setting moving forward.
You think it will be? And if you had any priorities, any advice for the people on the ground, what would it be?
Well, I think we have done something that is wrong for a number of years. It's been going on for a while. We have left everything into the hands of the politicians, and the citizenry of Dominica have not taken responsibility for their conditions. Look at the garbage, Matt. Look at the garbage condition in Dominica. The garbage condition doesn't require a Thompson Fountain, a Lennox Linton, a Bosso. It doesn't require none of these guys to do anything in the process. This is people's survival, their health, everything is on stress. So our people, as a people, need to start taking more responsibility for their condition. I think that's one of the things. We leave everything on a few people who are really tired. They're working hard, limited resources. It's rough. So the citizenry moving forward while calling on the politicians, that's all great and well. But the citizens of Dominica need to take a look at their condition, look at the rest of the region, and take more personal responsibility for their conditions in Dominica.
You know, I've heard a lot of, the Labour Party is busy re-registering and registering persons in Dominica. And why is the United Workers' Party so laid back in terms of that process?
Well, remember, the Labour Party is the government. Others have to. We'd have that process to take place. You have to deliver the documents to the people, tell them the electoral reform mission is ready to work, is ready for those things. So there are some fundamental things that have to happen within the system itself so that it can facilitate all of us doing those things. So that is being put in place to address that when that time comes. But we need time. We need to ensure that this guy does not rush and call an election, that we give him the amount of months that is in the understanding so that we can do these things properly. That is critical. So I think what has to happen is things have to be done constitutionally. That means everybody will be given adequate time to prepare for an election, and we have something fair. So that's how it has to go. If Roosevelt Skerrit wants to take an advantage of using the Constitution and his excuse for calling an election at any time, then we're going to have to do something about it. But that's going to depend on the people, because at some point we have to address the injustice that is inherent in the system of the way the Labour Party manipulates our political process at home.
So you have some idea somewhere at the back of your mind, Zed Lloyd, that the Prime Minister may just call a snap election using the Constitution as an excuse?
Well, the Prime Minister, you have to deal with somebody in what they've shown you. If they've shown you who you are, you'll be a fool not to accept who they are. What we are saying is we have to plan to address the type of Prime Minister that we deal with. And there is need for activeness, there is need for disability that they're trying to restrict people from gathering and standing up and resisting, all these things. So again, I think Roosevelt Skerrit is going to do what Roosevelt Skerrit is going to do. The people of Dominica need to start doing what they think they should do in their interest, not Roosevelt Skerrit's interest. I think this is the era that we're entering. That is the era. And there has to be some sense of activism on behalf of the citizens. We cannot just say we're just going to accept these things anymore.
But you've seen that. I mean, we rewind the tape to say March 19th. People were standing, but they have been, you will, persecuted and prosecuted, and hence that fear may be in the air. Do you think the people will continue to stand, or should continue to stand?
There's no choice. If you lay down and die, then you deserve to be treated as somebody who's dead. That's why I'm saying, like, for instance, the movement right now is to make sure that there are enough funds. We're going to take the government to court. We're going to challenge on behalf of these people. It's going to happen. We're going to challenge that law. That law is unconstitutional as per our constitution. So there are things being put in place to challenge. But the citizens have to understand that this is your government. And your government should not be acting in a manner that is disadvantageous to you. So the citizenry you have to stand. You have to stand up, and you have to understand that if you do not stand, then you're just going to be opening yourself to be taken advantage of, to be continually disrespected. Your health is going to suffer. Your garbage is going to increase. Your schools are going. It's on the citizenry. It's on the citizenry. Dominicans have to take a measure of responsibility in addressing Roosevelt Skerrit. As long as that doesn't happen, no matter what political movement that begins and how many leaders we change, we are not going to be able to stand up to what is going on in Dominica. The citizenry have to take a stand in this new era.
Well, given what just happened on March 19th, I'm sure you would understand the fear, the innate fear that the people, the populace are now experiencing. And you're saying they should break that fear and come forward and stand for their rights. Yes?
There's no other option. Because this case, these guys have no interest in running these cases. This was a strategy to put fear in people's minds and their hearts. And how do you cancel fear from your mind and your heart? You have to challenge that fear. You have to, we're a Christian nation, bro. We're people who pray. Everybody, Matt, in order you go to say we're not a people of fear. Isn't that what you hear? We follow a God that is not of fear. Well, now is the time for you to prove that you're following a God that is not of fear. That spirit that has to come alive. If the spirit, if the spiritual spirit in Dominica comes alive, Mark, a lot of things will change. There will be no garbage on the street. Even the citizens can help in some of the garbage process. It's a together effort sometimes, It's a together effort. And that's what I love about Bowie. Bowie always tries as a community collectively. We have to take Bowie's example, not just protest, in all their other actions. We need collective effort. Sometimes it's collective citizenry that has to come and do a little thing, organize it, and force the government to act. We cannot sit down and leave our problems in the hands of politicians all the time, bro. That is part of the problem.
So what's on the agenda, top on the agenda for that meeting with Mr. Thompson Fontaine tomorrow, yes?
Yeah, like I said, there's some major issues. They're going to show some developmental plans, a way forward, address the need for the diaspora to get involved, talk to the nation, talk about unity and the need for unification. But most importantly, it's going to be a call for sacrifice. It's going to be a call for sacrifice. We've seen the global thing. Everybody's tight. Money is going to be less and less on us. Dominica, it's critical. If we lose that CBI thing, for instance, we're going to be in dead-end street. Look, we see the Prime Minister going to get a loan for electoral reform after we spend hundreds of thousands on electoral reform for laws that we did not even use. Now he's talking about a loan to implement, a loan. And we have, what's up with that, No garbage trucks coming into the country. So I think the major thing about it is that we, as a people, we have to prepare for a moment of sacrifice. And that sacrifice, like I said, it goes beyond politics. We have to go back within ourselves. We have to go back to the God values. We have to go back to the spiritual values. The preachers, the churches, you don't have to be political to empower the people. You can empower them through righteous teaching, challenging injustice. Those are the things that are going to empower the people to overcome that fear that is overtaking the country. We have poverty rules your decisions. Poverty is what is increasing our sin in the country. These kids are out there on the streets committing all these crimes. We can change these conditions if we change these conditions of poverty.
Mr. Zedlon, I want to say thank you. What time is the meeting tomorrow?
Well, they're streaming to a Forge of Flatline, and our people, they're always late, but we have 2.5 hours in there. Spaces in New York City are expensive right now. It's on time. We're going to be starting on time at 7 o'clock because we have MO to follow, we have Q to follow, so from 7 o'clock to 9:30, we're going to have a 2.5 hour conversation. Then folks can chill around and support the establishment and that interaction. But we need the people to come on time.
The process is that Mr. Thompson Fontaine will address the crowd, if you will, and they'll have a chance for interacting, asking questions, and, if you will, making comments. Yes?
Yes, and especially diaspora has questions, their concerns, and we have some of those lined up to be addressed, but there'll also be a moment for them to interact, and he's gonna talk to the people, because I think at this point in time, bro, more than anything else, labor rights, freedom, UWPI, the majority of Dominicans are aware that Dominica can do better. Even the labor rights support Roosevelt carried. They silently tell you Dominica can do better. And I think Dominica is ripe for a kind of movement that is led by someone like Dr. Thompson Fontaine. I think we have to make that happen. We have to collectively make it happen. I applaud the party for talking about unity and making some outward strength and really saying, let's do this thing together. I want to applaud that. And I'm all with it, and I'm in full support of it. And it's a collective. It's across the board. We have to come together to solve Dominica.
Just
this government to do better.
Just before I came on the radio, one prominent, I won't call his name, one prominent Calypsonian said, "Man, I'm disappointed. Disappointed because said the executive of the United Workers' Party did not make a public executive statement to say that they dismiss comments from one of their supporters about this unity taking place, or this unity and the noises within the United Workers' Party. Is that something that you would agree with?"
Well, I mean, I think the president, spoke about the frustration. I think he should have gone, one step further and really, sanctioned Brian. But here's the thing. I think that the people of Dominica sanctioned Brian, because if you follow the argument, everybody was dissatisfied with Brian's language and response pattern in that dialogue. And so like I said, and that's one of the things. A lot of times I think these parties need to come on cue when their followers and people are going out of hand and let people know this is not the policy of the party, and caution and ask for, I think moving forward we need to start doing that, because what happens is an anti-rhetoric developed. For instance, for a number of years we had anti-labor rhetoric. That was detrimental to the party and to opposition forces. We need labor rights. We need them to be in community with us. So we have to ensure that the language of respect and collectivity exists. And Brian, I wish he would come on and say, yo, I'm sorry, because sometimes as big men, man, we have to say we're sorry. We have to have the ability to say we're sorry, especially when we are Christian people like Brian is, when we're people of Christ like Brian is. And I think the Christ in Brian should now come alive where he can know, yo, I'm sorry. I think we deserve that moment. More than anybody else talking to Brian, I think Brian as an individual and the principles he lives on should have that ability in himself to come up forward and say, yo, forgive me, I am sorry.
Okay, Mr. Zed Lloyd, thank you very much. I want to wish you all the blessings and, of course, love for the big meeting planned. What is your reaction on the ground? Persons are interested in coming to that meeting tomorrow?
People generally come to political gatherings, it's never an excessive amount of people, but, people come. But what is important tomorrow is the platform, the distribution of the platform, the ability to talk to a multitude beyond just New York. I think that is what I want people to capture tomorrow night. Come and listen to the spirit that is going to be said, the tone, the movement forward. Those things are most important, that we come on common ground. And I think Thompson Fountain is capable of imparting that kind of collective message. That, to me, is most important tomorrow evening.
Okay.
God bless, brother.
God bless you. God bless you, Brother Zed Lloyd, out there in New York City. A big meeting planned for Dr. Thompson Fountain with persons in New York City and the tri-state area. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Good morning, Matt.
Morning to you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, yes.
Yeah, Matt, I see Mr. Lloyd seems to be on point today. I cannot find anything to disagree with his statement. I think he's on point. And the people of Dominica, particularly that point, the people of Dominica, if someone is not taking your garbage out, you got to pull them up. You got to pull them up. It doesn't matter if you support their party. It is your health. It is you at risk for getting leptospirosis. We didn't hear Roosevelt Skerrit say anything about the garbage trucks. Are they on their way? When will they be here? What is being done in the interim? We have not heard any of that. Mr. Skerrit is not concerned about the people of Dominica. They should understand that. These are the people of Dominica. We are not slaves to a particular political party, Matt. Now, Matt, demonstration. There are many ways to demonstrate. Mahatma Gandhi took the British out of India without firing a bullet, without one physical external demonstration where police had to beat people up. I mean, people did get beat up, but not for being on the street with placards. Now, if the police say...
But you would, like I explained to Mr. Lord, you would understand the innate fear that some people have in terms of going back on the streets. You would understand that, yeah?
I understand it, Matt, but there are ways to get around it. There are demonstrations where you could stay home. That's a type of demonstration. It's passive, but you can stay home. There are demonstrations where you do not have to have a procession. Each individual can have his placard, and there could be 1,000 individuals walking around Roseau with their placards, not in a procession, in random. And let's see what they do about that. You're not because they're charging people for being in a procession. We can find a way around that. I'm not in a procession. I am demonstrating as an individual, walking around Roseau in all directions, Matt. So there are ways around it. We just have to get together and do it. Thanks, Matt. Enough said.
Somebody's telling me, somebody who may know something about it, somebody says that, let me see if I can read the last text. Ask Mr. Thompson should not apologize as well for leaking out response of Brian, which went viral. So, Mr. Thompson, if I was aware, I would ask you the question yesterday. Brian did not make a public statement, but Thompson did. And what does that say about him? 449-3095, 96 and 97. Again, I'm hoping that I was told there was a big reconciliation meeting within the executive of the United Workers Party, and I'm hoping that these matters are laid to rest and moving forward. And let's hope that the party will be mature enough. And there it is, and move forward. That's how big men operate, okay? You realize you're wrong, and you apologize and move on. You're never too big to apologize. Hello, yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
My brother, how you doing?
Madam, good. Matt, I'm not sure what is going on, but I suspect the Labour Party leader is in Wesley today.
He is the Labour Party leader?
The Labour Party leader is in Wesley today, Roosevelt Skerrit.
So what is he doing in Wesley? What is he doing in Wesley?
I suspect he's looking at the damages associated with the construction of the international airport.
As a matter of fact, I got some video last evening to seem that there was some serious lapse there in terms of the runway and the construction of the runway. There seems to have been some slides in the middle of that runway.
Yes, Matt, I told the nation and the world that Roosevelt Skerrit has built a airport lake at bottom Wesley. Because they forget that a stream was running where they put in the airstrip. So water collected there. They spent several $1 million draining the lake. But we got rain all week. It's the first time in years that the month of May, have given us so much rain. Farming and construction was almost at a standstill this week, Matt. But the government have a lot of questions to answer, a lot of degradation of the environment. If you see the coastal water color from Marigot to Calibishi, it's amazing.
I was very moved by this piece of video that was sent to me privately about what's going on there. It seems like there's a lake below this airstrip that seems to be affected, and something has to be done. As we have said before, this EIA that was spoken about many times should have been done.
Matt, if you see what is really happening there, that is evil, and it is so sad that one or two persons who, by the way, lives outside of Dominica, criticizes persons when they outline the damages associated with the environment. Matt, where the Chinese build the village at Palm Tree, Matt, they are literally taking the dirt that cannot compact, dump it on the verge of their village and grade it down into the river below their village, and the rain takes the mud into the Woodfortill Beach. I mean, that is criminal. You see in what is happening, you can do mitigation or refuse to dump soil there. Not a single government official will say, no, that cannot happen. And that is the sad thing about it, Matt. But Matt, talking on the international issues and the political issues in respect to the trip to America and New York and Washington by party leader Dr. Fontaine. This is a strategic move. We have been saying for years, over 15 years, that is the diaspora that is affecting the outcomes of the elections in Dominica. Are we to wait until the Prime Minister calls an election, a sham election again, for us to start to visit the diaspora? No, the party leader, being a strategist as he is, decided, yes, I need to touch base with my connections in America. I need to touch base with my connections around the world. And yes, we have to have meetings. We have to energize the base. We have to energize the people on the ground. But I believe firmly, Matt, as somebody who spent a lot of time campaigning in Dominica on the ground, that our campaign has to be a different type of campaign. We are not going to have a campaign where you have trying to get thousands of people on the ground. Catchment area meetings is the way forward. Because as articulated before me, Matt, persons are afraid. Persons are afraid to come out to meetings. But they will stay in their window. They will stay just around the corner and listen. I have said more than one time, we have said more than one time, this government, Roosevelt Skerrit, has turned politics in Dominica into a presidential type politics. I heard labor rights, educated labor rights in Wesley saying, I am not going to vote for the candidate they have there. Is spirit I voting for, and they walk into the polling station at the police station and vote for the candidate for the Labour Party. They say when they vote for the candidate for the Labour Party, they're actually voting for Roosevelt Skerrit. Dominicans are satisfied that Dr. Fountain is a scholar. They were told years ago that UDLP cannot get, big wigs cannot get no job in Dominica, that they were lazy, they were this, they were that. They have seen a difference. They have seen the emergence of Dr. Fountain that put away a job when he was making tens of thousands of dollars a month and came back to transform Dominica, making himself available, a humble man. Every time this man speaks, you hear unity and peace coming from his mouth. The Dominican people are going to go to the polls and give him a chance. Give themselves a chance by voting for the doctor. This man could be in Dubai, could anywhere, making bags of money per month, Matt, but it is clear that he is not for himself. The labor rights have been listening to them. Some of them that are working with the NEP. They're speaking to you, but they're watching right or wrong. They're afraid, but they say they're going to change their mind this time, Matt. So our approach has to be different. And I heard people vilifying the party leader. Selfishness and greed, Matt. The party leader was accused of referring to somebody that taking cocaine. The leader had a right to share the information he actually sent to the man. Matt, we have to stop that petty grievances and foolishness and let us rescue Dominica, Matt. Matt, 800 persons lost their work at a call center in Roseau in recent times, and we are fighting for position. I hear fellas coming on the radio say, that party there is our party. I like a village, Matt. Fellas saying, we want 2 seats. Fellas saying, we want 1. We're going to put toll booth in bridges. Matt, let us stop that evil, Matt. Matt, the farmers are planting, spoiling on their farms. And we're fighting instead of unite. That is why years ago, a Calypsonian make a song, The Animal Farmer, Matt. Matt, let us unite to transform Dominica. Matt, I don't have much children, but 2 of my children are in Antigua, working and making good money, one working, one going to school. And they cannot get a job in Dominica. We have supporters supporting the Workers' Party for 20, 30, 40 years and depending on us to deliver victory. And we're fighting and we're taking pencil and choking persons and talking filth on the radio, Matt. It is shameful. It is shameful, Matt. Calling other.
Are you one of those who would agree that we need to unite the party? Everybody has a role to play in that unity. Yes.
Everybody, Matt, but it is sad. I have spoken to individuals and I see hate coming from their eyes when they speak, Matt. The Dominican people need to just say, Chopol, I don't know what that means because I can understand the patois. I'm going to give Thompson Fountain a chance, Matt. It's evil that going on, Matt. Matt, how can you talking about a party where thousands of persons all over Dominica spend their money, run up and down, sleepless nights, campaigning, and you're saying it's my party, it's our party. You're saying the rest of Dominica is stupid. It's us alone that's smart. Matt, Dominica is in the whole, Matt. Matt, most of the persons that criticizing the UDLP, they live outside of Dominica because they cannot live here 2 months. Because Dominica hard, Matt. Dominica hard. A person like me, I can talk. I have certain things, tentacles, I stretch my hand out so I can pay my bills. I can pay them on time, but I try my best to do so. Martin, I will always say that in 2002, I was employing 32 persons from Woodfortill, Wesley, and to a certain extent, Marigot. And today, the Chinese are doing all maintenance they have to do. You know, a labor rider get my work, Matt. The Chinese that doing those things there. And you're telling me we must continue to fight because you don't like somebody? Eh? It is shameful. But if my brother was to go on have a voice note or do whatever they did to Dr. Fountain or do whatever they do to a powerful politician in government, and my brother cannot quickly jump on the whatsoever and say I apologize because I didn't only assault, affect, disrespect the person I want to disrespect. I call somebody name that is wrong and misleading and shameful. I would apologize. But no, some people prefer to die with their boots on. It is painful, Matt, but I will continue to stand for unity. I will continue to stand with the Workers' Party. I will continue to stand with Dr. Fountain because I am convinced for this man to have left the IMF and they're doing hoaxing, putting money in the hands of farmers in this country. I am convinced he means good for Dominica, and the Dominican people are going to give him a chance, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I afforded this video coming from the proposed site for the runway of the international airport. I'm saying that the authorities have to pay close attention. It's almost like a disaster waiting to happen. I'll see if I can get the airport manager, CEO, sometime soon to explain just what is going on. Because it is a serious concern. It speaks to poor civil engineering, lack of the environmental study that should have taken place before this international airport started. But nobody paid attention. Excited to be the first to put an international airport. We all want an international airport, but let's do it right. Let's do it right. Now, more expense. I'm sure by the time you see this video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Hello, talk to me. We'll address that situation there with the CEO, Mr. Johnson, sometime, maybe next week. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Matt. Can you jog my memory?
And?
Is it Dublin that the mother of all rallies will be taking place on June 1st on Sunday?
June 1st. Yes.
In Dublin, it is?
In Dublin, yes.
I mean, I think the party has made a serious error to bring Mia Mottley into an enclave, a bottleneck, where you're going to have traffic jam, and you proclaim it's going to be the mother of all rallies. Instead of bringing Mia Mottley to the stadium and prove to us that you have 10,000 seats were filled in the stadium when Dublin only holds about 300 people. I hope that there's not going to be a fallout. The logistics, the security situation to bring the Barbados Prime Minister.
But if you understand visuals, Peter, I'm into media, so I know the smaller the pack is, the more impactful that would be. Huh? You understand?
But you would want to prove that you filled 10,000 seats at the stadium if you're going to call it the mother of all rallies. That's what I'm concerned about. And guess who's bankrolling that mother of all rallies? I'm sure you don't know who's bankrolling it, Matt.
You know something that I don't know, Peter, so share the information there.
I will leave that hanging in the air. I leave that hanging in the air. The high rollers are there, the high rollers. Take care, man.
All right, thank you, my brother. 449-3095-96 and 97. You know who we have coming up next? I think is the Social Security. They'll be talking for us for the next hour from 2 o'clock. But let's take a few phone calls as we discuss some issues before us, including that of the this airstrip, the proposed airstrip of the international airport being affected there by some water system, and there's some concern out there. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Yes, Matt. That's the guy with the more vibes there, Matt. Can you make a little announcement while you're there for me, please?
Announcement like what?
With the thing about my mother to go Curacao and see like bringing us to Dominica.
Well, as I told you, just do some do some investigation and find out what the Social Security can do for you. That's all I can say. I mean, ask them the question on your behalf, okay? Yes, I'll ask the question on your behalf if you don't want to go to the Social Security and ask for yourself, okay? All right, let's take another phone call, yeah? Uh-huh. Oh.
Good afternoon, Dominica. Good afternoon, Springfield. That's why I'm going to be talking about this.
You have a problem with your telephone, so you have to call another number because we're getting some serious noises from that telephone. So try another number and call us back, okay? Thank you. We have a few more minutes before Social Security shows up. Hello, yes. Uh-huh.
Matt Belton has to you, sir.
Since to you, sir.
Matt, in America, you have the state by state, the getting rid of fluoridated water, fluoride in water. I never stayed in school, Matt, but when I used to go there once in a blue moon, like it's vacation I was going, they used to give us to shake fluoride in our mouth, Matt, and tell us, please do not swallow.
Yes.
Take in your mouth and throw it out. Great civilizations like America, that's why Europe don't buy much things from America. Food and clothing and all of that, detergent and all of that. Matt, where our chlorine is coming from now, Matt, can you have Lofty or somebody? Where our chlorine is coming from? Matt, it seems like Dominicans are dotish, but it seems like even Dominicans in the diaspora are dotish too, Matt. Matt, what is wrong with Dominicans, boy? Matt, you mean to tell me Dominicans don't know what to do with the garbage up to now, Matt? Matt, Dominicans are not fearful of police and tear gas and bullets. He who have very little does not value life too much. And it's not just his or her life. The lives of others means nothing to them, Matt. Dominicans are fearful of victimization. That is what? Impoverishment. Dominicans are frightened of uncertainty. What if I fall sick today and they tell me go and meet the Prime Minister to beg him? And my face on a post where they have a database saying all who was protesting, all who called Q95, they know how well networked these nets or this web is Matt. So what I'm saying, Matt, even the meeting Rosso, all of a sudden the meeting disappear. Because people start firing Nepal left, right, and center. I see you allow other people to talk. But I'm glad you tell me not to talk about that, Matt. Because I learn a lot not talking about that. Thanks, Matt. But, Matt, I want to say, the disunity, the self-hate, the jealousy, the envy, people who want to think, well, they have a monopoly or some ultimate authority on discretion, common sense, and education. I have none, the latter. They cannot see each other thrive, Matt. They don't know what is coexistence. They don't know what is tolerance, Matt. I have a thing said in closing, Matt. We don't like to see each other grow, plenty of us. We would rather to see each other go, or to say, the effer, oh, he died, hey, that's good for him. Or go in the sense of going with the flow. But Matt, when you go with the flow, there are several tides that are going to take you on different parts of the ocean floor. So some evil people create a whirlpool and want you to get...
Blessings, I'm a little lost here this afternoon. Where is all of this coming from? Where is all of this coming from?
Well, listen to me. You deal with the garbage, you deal with the Chinese, you deal with the diaspora meeting. I am all over the place. You are all over the place.
No, I'm asking you, Blessings, based on your comments this afternoon. Where is this coming from? You're all over the place. We talk about the meeting in New York. We spoke about the airport. We spoke about the disunity in the United Workers' Party and trying to solve it. I'm asking, where are you going with this?
Where am I going with this? What am I saying? Matt, are you listening to me?
I am listening to you, Blessings, but you're all over the place. You're not sticking on one point in terms of trying to get a solution as to pointing us in one direction, Blessings. You're all over the place. So tell me, where is it that you want to end? Where is it that you want to end?
Why you always fight?
I'm not fighting you, Blessings. I'm trying to get a point because persons are now accusing me of allowing Blessings to say whatever. He's all over the place. So please stick to the point. I'm trying to guide you now, Blessings. Where are you going with this? Where are you going with it?
Let me just tell Steve Benjamin, Chupul is foul backside, or I don't care. Matt, I would say something on the air, but or they would ban me.
No, we're not banning you, Blessings. We're asking you, we're trying to allow you to get to the point, 4493095, because we want to follow your arguments. I want you to tell me where you're going with this. That's basically what it is. You spoke about chloride, you spoke about chlorine. Where are you going with all of these pieces of information? Please resolve the puzzle. That's basically what I'm telling you. Hello, talk to me, yes? Solve the problem, yes. How are you, sir? How are you? Yes. Yes, how are you?
Not bad at all. Good afternoon, strangers. Not bad at all. Matter something on my mind, you know. I know you're talking about the airport, but what on my mind is the Barbados Prime Minister.
I'll speak about
and
that.
Dominicans think that lady come in Dominica just to prop up, scare it. But Mato, it is more than that. This lady coming to Dominica to do something worse than Ross University. Go to Dominica and supporting Skerrit to remain in power is very big for she and Barbados. The reason for that, Barbados is the most visited country in the Caribbean to China. So she is doing bidding for China. And Skerrit remain in power, she will benefit. And Barbados will benefit at the expense of Dominica. And what happens? She playing two-sided swords. She wants America to think Barbados with America. And she wants Dominica to think Dominica with China. So she playing a game like James Bond, Lady James Bond. This lady is the same lady that burned down Salisbury. This is the same lady that take Ross University from Dominica. This is the same lady that support Roosevelt Skerrit to go overseas and bring 3 persons at Mr. Lincoln home. That lady is not in the benefit of Dominicans. She there for one reason is to represent Barbados, and that's why you hear in her closest aide in Barbados, fire in. Because they know they're using Dominicans as strong to get what they want, because we have the worst, the most uneducated prime minister in the Windward, in CARICOM, in NATO, in all kind of thing you see, Skerrit is the worst. So that's how we are. That's what she come in Dominica too. The vote Dominicans can vote to leave Skerrit in power is a vote for Skerrit, is a vote for Barbados. God bless Dominica. Thank you.
God bless you, my brother. And relax, eh? I getting a lot of emotions there from you. Don't raise your blood pressure, okay, my friend? So my point to you, Blessings, again. You know, if you start one conversation, let's wrap it up and then move to the next point and move to the next point. But everything like a melee. So, you know, some people are lost if we don't come to that conclusion there. We are waiting for friends there from Social Security. So please don't get an impression, Mr. Blessings, that I'm trying to stop you from talking. You're always welcome to talk. What I'm trying to see if I can guide you get somewhere. If you're making a point, make the point. Put a full stop and take the next point, and we'll move on. But this all over the place doesn't always make sense. That's my point to you. You know I love you, my brother. But allow people to follow that discussion. We're not dealing with a puzzle, trying to put parts together. Somebody's trying to make the point as it relates to the airport that we made earlier. What seemed to be a crack in the or slide in the proposed runway. And already the accusations that there may be poor civil engineering at the airport, building in a swamp. Somebody says, what should we expect that? There's no EIA. Like you said, poor planning, no strategies, There are too many square pegs in round holes. They said there are culverts all over completed, and we are ahead of the schedule. All issues were resolved, according to the project manager. Well, here we're seeing the results of not doing things in the right way. This is what happens when people don't listen to those who know better. This is what happens when you have people with egos as big as the universe itself. Okay? Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes, our friends from the Social Security is here. We're going to take one call. Hello, talk to me. Yes?
Matt, I am going to be simple. I am not leading anybody, so please do not follow me. And I'm saying, Matt, Dominica is a puzzle. Life is a puzzle. All you don't see what happening to all you. All you think it is simple. All you think it is ABC that happening there. No wonder you cannot understand nothing that is happening to us in Dominica. All you can follow me, and I'm not leading all you not to follow me.
Well, we don't want complications. We want the puzzle to be solved. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes?
Thank you for answering the call.
Thank you.
My point is going to be simple and very unpopular.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, right? Everybody associated with the United Workers' Party or vote for the United Workers' Party is an adult, 18 and above, right?
18 and above, yes. I get that
Right.
point.
I would hate to think the United Workers' Party running a dictatorship or a kindergarten school.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is everybody inside there free to speak their mind when they want, how they want. You're free to oppose, you're free to support. That doesn't mean disunity. So I am saying Brian Lincoln have a right to say what he wants and Thompson Fountain have a right to respond. That is two big men battling their ground. Nobody has to apologize.
But you don't think that would make send the wrong signals there, caller?
Signal. It is not sending what wrong signal. Big people you're dealing with. People inside their home, brother and sister disagreeing, husband and wife disagreeing, and they're still uniting. What is this big camouflage about? Because I don't support what this one say, or Brian say that about Thompson, or Thompson say that about Brian. Why is that disunity? That is people that disagree on something, and that is okay. You think labor rights, this right?
You think all the personal attacks are necessary, though?
What's that?
Do you think that all the personal attacks that have been going on for the past months? I don't support it. But do you think it's right, though? Do you think to get all these personal attacks, one against each other?
Matt,
yes, I'm
Matt,
here.
listen to me.
I'm here.
The personal attack really should go on in-house within each other, and that is healthy and okay.
Thank you.
Right? But whoever posting it on Facebook is dead at wrong.
Okay.
Okay? Right. So one the Facebook people and all who posting on Facebook. Because I can call anybody in the United Workers' Party and tell them it's garbage you're doing, I don't agree with you, and that is healthy, that is okay.
But you're saying leave it in the private space and not public. Is that what your point is?
In their private space, it is their right and it is healthy and it is good for the party. It's not a dictatorship where any one person must think they're right.
But while I agree with you, I don't think it should be discussed in the public space. And I think that any intelligent people will say that, yeah?
On Facebook, it's there to go and harass.
All right, okay.
Go ask this one to apologize or that one. Go to the Facebook people and tell them stop the rubbish they're doing.
Hey, my friend, thank you very much. Yes. We're here with the DSS. And you know, anytime they hear the word DSS, it's like, wow. They're here to discuss certain aspects of the DSS. The topic is, I think, let's talk DSS. And Mr. Etienne is the lead person this afternoon there. So let's say good afternoon to you, sir. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Mr. Peltier. Good afternoon to your listeners. I'm not too bad, thank you.
All right, young lady. How are you?
I'm fine, Mr. Peltier. Good afternoon to the listeners.
Queen between two.
Yes, sandwich between the two men.
So you feel powerful about that.
Yes. So we are here again from the DSS to educate the listening public about the Social Security Program, certain aspects of the Social Security Program, and to entertain any questions or concerns that they may have
about the Social Security.
Correct.
So let me allow you to say your piece.
Yes. Good day. Abdul Aziz Anderson here.
and I say it. I'm happy to be here again, and I'd like to tell the listeners today about the exciting news that we have had as we have been going for our digital transformation. So that's why I'm here today to share with your listeners.
Okay, let's allow Mr. Etienne to lead the ball or have the first ball. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Etienne.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peltier. Again, good afternoon to your listeners.
Good afternoon to you.
It's always a pleasure for us to interface with the public, to inform and educate them about pertinent issues.
I did say it would be my invitation to do it next time, but I'm happy you beat me to it.
We were expecting you to bring us in between because we were here 2 months ago, so we do it every other month.
So I can invite you next month.
So we're expecting you to have brought us on board last month.
So don't invite you anymore?
No, you still need to. You still need to. You still need to.
Okay, so
well, we arrange every other month, but you can bring us in between.
This time I'm gonna invite you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Would welcome that.
All right. So, thank you. You're welcome. When I invite you very soon, I hope you take the invitation.
Just give us notice.
Of course. How much notice you need?
Just tell us when you expect us to come so we can make ourselves available. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So what are we talking about here this morning? This afternoon, sir. Well, what do you want to focus on this afternoon? I think I have the paper there somewhere on my phone here. But let's talk Social Security. We're joining the DSS officers, and we're talking about the ongoing digital transformation. Let's talk about that for now. To start the ball rolling. Are you lead person on that?
Yes, yes.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, so the development started some years ago, but like every other institution in this world, everybody has to modernize.
All right.
And we are trying to move away best from all our, the paper-based systems and the old systems. So in November 15th, we made the first step where we went live, where the cashiers and the contribution department actually moved on to the new system. So bit by bit, we are trying to get each department onto the new system. So in order to process everything quicker, to have more transparency. The goal is to start from within, and in the end, even you will be able to check to see if your contributions have been paid already.
Okay.
If you seek the status of your claim, pensioners, we want to bring it not just where you have to be calling to the office. Because all now you'd have to call the office. We're trying to get to the point where you will be able to check on your phone. You can check on your phone or log in on a computer. And if you still like the old-fashioned way, yes, you can call the office.
I was about to ask that. What about the old-fashioned play? Because not the only people.
We can never lose the human touch.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what I was looking for. You won't lose that human touch.
Not at all.
Because the old people, the elderly people, older persons, you want to say that. I don't look at people old.
Yeah.
Will never be familiar with tech.
That is true. There are some people that they just want to just walk at certain points. You could be at your desk all the time, like you're in here all now.
Right.
You may say, well, okay, let me stretch my legs. And your stretch would be to come to Social Security.
Sure,
yeah.
You may not even want to check your phone even if it's available. But the fact is, it will be available, and we want to get to that point where you will be able to check it on your phone.
All right. So everything will be available on your phone on these days?
Yes,
Eventually.
I thought you was already ready.
No. I said ongoing digital transformation.
Ongoing, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We have begun, and we have been changing our systems internally. And as soon as we are done internally, then after we move to the external point.
And what's the timeline?
The timeline, we are estimating that by the end of this year, 2025, that we will at least have approached the employers so that they can start doing their filings online, rather than having to come to the office, rather than having to bring that paper, and we have a stack of paper right there every 14 minutes. That's a busy time. That's our collection period. So they'll be able to be online and file their C8s, their contributions, and then the next step for the public would be for doctors, for the claims, because we want everybody to process their claims online also, to make it easier for them. When we get to that stage there, where people can process claims and you can file contributions online, then after the next step now is for the status reviews that I just telling you about, whereby then you better just take your phone and say, okay, here's what. Okay, my contributions have been paid. We have a lot of people who call nowadays and say, just to say, what's the status of the contribution? Did my employer pay? Didn't they pay last month? But now, well, not now, sorry. We're getting to that point where probably by sometime in 2026, where now everybody, all our insured persons will be able to say, okay, all right, so All right.
Well, with every digital transformation, sir,
Mhm.
I mean, we always talk about the advantages. What are the disadvantages
What are the disadvantages?
as it relates to digital transformation?
Well, at this current, I don't see moving in the future. I'm not going to say that I see any disadvantages.
Okay.
But it's always a process, no matter how you put it. We are going from where we
A teething process.
Yes,
Okay.
because you have an old system and you have a lot of records that are paper based that were brought in that would normally verify when you make your claim and your contribution. So this process there will cause certain delays. Like, okay, we normally take about let's say when it's in a process in a claim,
Mhm.
take about 3 to 4 weeks. But with this transformation, there remember we are one system, we are migrating from it
Right.
to the new system. So we have staff becoming comfortable with it. That is one. We have verification of data just in case something was missed. So then after you might process your claim, and when you come for your claim, you'll be like, okay, oh, I realize something's missing. We missed something from the old system.
But you still have it as a backup, though.
Yes.
Reference.
All our data is backed up, both from the old, both from the new, and we have the paper records there. So a lot of them are scanned.
So you're not going to just get rid of it?
No, that's impossible. If we do that, then after we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot.
Right.
Because just imagine that we have something in the old system, and for some reason we missed you.
Right.
And then you come back to us. You're gonna be knocking on our door. You might even bring your axe, and well, you'll come back on your radio and you'll be calling the horns. So we cannot sacrifice the old just to get to the new.
Okay.
It is a process, and you have to go from step 1, 2, 3, and try to move ahead.
Okay. Well,
But the point, where we want to get to is where we can, as I said, where we can be online, in your hands, and then in terms of disadvantages, I can't see any at that point. From an IT standpoint, if you want to look at it, you'll see when we are out there,
Mhm.
we have it's a greater security risk. So we have to increase our resources in terms of security on our servers. But from a public standpoint and from an internal standpoint for our employees using the system, then no, it will be a quicker system. It will be better for us internally and better for all those externally, both employers and employees and self-employed. Which will be
Not comparing the two, but in recent times, I've been hearing a lot of discussion with Trump administration and Social Security and what they have discovered, not discovered. So anything maybe that they're maybe hiding, quote unquote, that people should not know about.
Okay, no, that's one I'm not familiar with. That one from when you put Trump in it and Social Security. That's one I am really not familiar with. I'm mistaken.
Me either. I don't follow what is happening in the US as closely as I probably should. So I just speak to
Interestingly,
them.
somebody is saying there, I'm at work at Rochester, New York, at the DCC apartment, meaning the Social Security Department of Social Security, and listening to Dominica's DSS program. So maybe there should be more education as it relates to what is happening there in Social Security. And because I'm hearing that some people are paid, and it's like some people are paid even if they are not in the system. That's what is happening in the US as it relates to Social Security.
Well, for us in Dominica, our system is a contributory system.
Mhm.
You must contribute for it to be able to get benefit out of the system.
You must contribute.
You must contribute.
As compared to the US.
I don't know. I cannot speak with any authority in the US.
That should be US law.
So yes. So because our system is contributory, a person has to be a registered and contributing member for them to access benefits.
Mhm.
You have situations where people who are not so registered and contributing can access benefits, but it's by virtue of the benefit, the contributions of a partner or a parent who would have died and left them when they cannot fend for themselves. The system would support them.
Mhm.
But you're qualifying for that benefit, a survivor's benefit, by virtue of the fact that somebody, your partner or your parent, if you were a child, had contributed, and then you can access benefits as a result.
Okay, somebody's asking a question. I think I want to go through that. I have a question for the people you are interviewing from Social Security. Have they tried all things in Social Security? You know, when we have those files in the US who is finding tons of fraud and abuse at Social Security, have we ever had such things happening in Dominica? Same question I'm asking you.
Oh, that's long-winded.
Yeah.
We have when you register with Social Security, you are assigned a unique Social Security number. Your employer is supposed to pay contributions on your behalf if you're working for somebody, or if you're working for yourself as a self-employed person, a voluntary contributor. your contributions are recorded against your number, which is a unique number. No two persons will ever end up having the same Social Security number, right? So it is the accumulation of contributions over time that will give the contributors access to benefits at specific times when certain specific things happen to them. We provide access to short-term benefits while you are at work. If your work is disrupted because you are ill, or if you are a young woman who become pregnant and you have to abstain from work for a while, you are not going to be able to access your full salary, because when you don't work, you will not get paid your full salary. The system comes through and replaces for you 60% of your salary for the period you have to abstain from work because of that condition.
One other question before we go. Again, the questions are coming in fast and furious. Matt, one of the biggest questions I have is to ask the DSS, how solvent is Social Security? How can they guarantee the young people in the country that they will be able to get Social Security when to get to the age of retirement? What Social Security investment, where are you guys investing at this time? And where is the money going to be made to make sure that the young people can have access to it when they get old?
Okay. Social by design, Social Security is what do you call a defined benefit system, where we define in the law all the benefits that people have access to at whatever time and to what extent and how what. Now, let me see my train of thought.
I think she was asking about how do we ensure that the young people will
Okay,
be able to
so Social Security, for it to continue to function as designed, a lot of things have to be true. A lot of things have to materialize. Social Security is dependent on persons to be contributing, and the contribution is the main source of income to the fund, right? Contribution is the main source of income to the fund. So we always need people to be contributing. When you contribute, the contributions we receive have to be used to pay current beneficiaries, people who qualify for benefit now. We have to meet the cost of administration, the cost of running the system, salaries, stationery, everything that is necessary to run a business. And any excess that is not needed or used for those two purposes upfront, you invest to generate returns and grow reserves over time. We have to undergo an actuarial review every 3 years. The actuary comes and looks at what's happening at Social Security, what's happening to the population, what's happening to the economy, and they make projections and recommendations intended to push the system forward for the next 60-year horizon. So population changes can affect the sustainability of Social Security, and that's a challenge. Right now, we have net population growth because annually we have been more people dying than we have new babies being born. So on an annual basis, on the basis of births and deaths.
Is that a challenge?
It is a challenge for the system because we have an aging population. More and more people are coming of age where they will be entitled to receive their pension for the rest of their lives, however long they live. And we have fewer children being born. So we have fewer young people working to be supporting the payouts to those pensioners. And more people are becoming of age to qualify for those pensions. And we have fewer young people working to support that. That is a challenge for the system. We have to start making changes, maybe give incentives for people to have more children so that there will be population growth. And if there is population growth, there is economic activity, people are working, the system will continue to receive contributions, and the benefit of those future generations will be better assured. If that doesn't happen to the extent it needs to happen, the system can run into difficulty down the road. But at the moment, we are okay.
We want this to be a very interactive program, so let's take a phone call. Are you there?
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon to you and your guests.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Studio. Question. I was in Dominica. I used to work. I came up to the U.S., got married, does not carry the same last name. I have two state IDs from the U.S., one a military ID, which is a government ID, and my driver's license. When I came to Dominica, I wanted to get a new Social Security card from Dominica. I have my IDs with me. What they're telling me is I had my old Social Security ID card, that I must make the ID on with the same old name that I had before I got married, when I have ID to prove that I'm the same person. What was the reason for that? I cannot go and make an ID on my old name when I was divorced, and I come with ID to prove my new name. If they wanted a copy of the marriage certificate, I could provide that too. And I could not get a new ID made with my last name that I carry.
Your current name, yes.
My current name. I must make it in the old name, that was the old card that I had from Dominica.
Okay, let me see if these officers here.
Did you have with you at the time your marriage certificate, which would have substantiated the change of your name? And ID having a name on it, it's not an official document showing how your name changed from your maiden name to your married name. So if you did not have your marriage certificate at the time,
hold on, let me allow you to answer. Did you have that marriage certificate?
I had my marriage certificate with me in Dominica, but even the person at the desk is like they don't even know what questions to ask. They never even ask me for the marriage certificate.
So next time you come, bring that marriage certificate, and I think everything will be resolved.
So what it is, we to protect the integrity of our information. When you first register with us, we insist that you bring your original birth certificate. That is your official birth record. We do not take baptismal certificate, right? So we want those official documents that indicate that you are who you say you are. You were born on that day to those parents and so on. That your birth certificate will give your name and surname. When you get married and you take on another surname, there is another document that's saying as of that date, your name changed from the name you were born with to this married surname that you're now taking on. You have a document that's saying that happened on that date. We need to see that document. So if you did not have it at the time, the best they could do for you was to give you a new card as your name is registered on the system until you bring evidence that your name has changed, and then we update our system. It's not that they could not give you, but you needed that official document, which you say you could have provided in due course, but you didn't have it at the time. They would not have been able to do that for you. And if you wanted the card at that time, they would only produce it based on what is already on the system. Or you can wait for when you update your information with your marriage certificate and then request the new card, and then it will be changed to reflect your married surname now.
Yes? Okay, I see she's gone. Let's see if we can take one more phone call. We'll move to you as it relates to self-employment coverage. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, man. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your guest, man.
Good afternoon.
But I have a question. I want to know, with all the foreigners that are working in Dominica these days, does Social Security have any authority to ensure that these people contribute to the scheme?
You have that authority?
Under the law, everybody who is engaged in work for pay in Dominica is supposed to be registered and paying contributions into the program. So there are certain classes or certain categories of foreign nationals who might be working here, and because of how their payment arrangements work, they claim that they are being paid in their home country by whatever means, not in Dominica. So for those persons, we may not be able to necessarily collect contributions, although we should be collecting those. But what we strive to do is to ensure that any national, any Dominican national who is engaged in work for pay in Dominica with any company, multinational, whoever, that those Dominicans' rights are protected and that we collect contributions for those persons. For the foreign nationals, well, if they choose not to pay, we don't owe them any. We have no commitment to them because they're not paying. Although the system might be deprived of the contributions that we could otherwise have collected on their behalf.
All right, let's move to, of course, times of the essence. Let's move because we continue taking phone calls. Will never end. Self-employed coverage. Can we speak to that?
Okay, Matt, just to state that Social Security started providing self-employed coverage to contributors from 1989.
Okay.
And actually, the coverage or the contributions by self-employed persons, it is a mandatory thing. So it's not a voluntary program whereby you can choose to contribute if you so desire. But by law, it is mandatory for self-employed persons to register and to pay contributions to Social Security for their national insurance protection. But who is a self-employed person? A self-employed person, based on the legislation, would be somebody who works for himself.
Okay.
So it may be a bus driver, a farmer, a lawyer, a doctor, a barber. Once you are working for yourself, you control the terms and conditions of your work. You provide yourself with the own tools. You state when you go to work. You can decide you're not going to work today, how long you're working, all of those things. And you are gainfully employed in Dominica, you would be deemed to register as a self-employed person. The self-employed persons must be between the ages of 16 and 65
Okay.
in order to register with Social Security to make contribution payments. 16 because below 16, most children are at school, and so they are, because of child labor legislation as well. Even if you're under the age of 16 and you may be doing some work, you are not liable to be registered with Social Security. And you have up to the pensionable age, which is currently 65. So once you're between those ages and you work for yourself, you are by law required to be registered and pay contributions as a self-employed person. This year, the rate for self-employed persons to pay contribution is 13.50% of the assessed or declared earnings. So basically, for the self-employed person to register with Social Security, they would need to come to the office, have a discussion with one of our officers to provide us with information as to the earnings that they make or the income that they make from their self-employed status. So because we know self-employed salaries are not fixed, it will fluctuate depending on what industry you're in, or when things are good, when things are not so good, it may fluctuate. Then the self-employed person will come and declare to us an amount that they think they make when business is good and when it is not so good. And based on that, we'll work out the contribution that they are supposed to pay. By law, it is required that self-employed persons pay contributions on a quarterly basis, which means every 3 months, and it is due by the 14th of the month. So, for example, contributions for the quarter ended in March would have been due by the 14th of April. The option is also there for the self-employed person to make their contribution either on a monthly basis if they so desire, if it's easier for them, or if they prefer to pay the entire sum, the entire annual sum upfront, they can do so. And every year, the self-employed person is required to come and do a reassessment because, things may change from the previous year's income. And also because that the contribution rate may also change because it is going up by 0.25% until the year 2031 for now. So they are required to come in every year to do a reassessment where we can inform them as to what would be the new contribution rate that they are supposed to pay.
Fishermen fall within that bracket?
Fishermen, once you work for yourself,
Fishermen,
domestic
farmers.
workers as well. So if you're a domestic worker at
Even a
home
housewife.
or housewife, yes, then you are required to register as a self-employed person.
All right, let's see if we can take a phone call or two. Hello, yes. Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
A question for the panel you have there.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes. Ask them, suppose let's say you were a government worker and you left government work up there for 65. You went to DSS, you do all you had to do everything. How to get a payment after that retirement date?
Can you repeat that question? I need you to clarify. Go ahead. It wasn't you weren't very clear.
You are a government employee.
You're a government employee, yes?
Government stop paying you at 65.
Government stop paying you at 65, yes?
Okay, let's say that's December.
Right.
Stop paying
You went to DSS, you shall secure all the requirements.
All right.
How soon after are you supposed to get your first payment from Social Security? That one was them.
You understand? Okay, so how soon after you're fired or you end in a retirement, you'll get your claim, your first claim?
First of all, you have to claim, you have to apply for every benefit that you want to access from Social Security. It's not automatic. Some people have the mistaken notion that because they register, they paid, the system will automatically pay them when the time comes. You have to make a claim because although we know you had been registered and paying, we don't know that you are around. You could have died along the way. So you must apply. And for the public officers especially who might be getting the bridge pension from government between 60 and 65, government and Social Security are not one and the same. We are two separate entities. So the government bridge pension will stop when you attain the age, but you need to apply by us for you to get what we owe you. Some people think it's automatic. So as soon as the government one stops, ours will kick in. No, you have to make an application with us. And the required time for doing
so
that.
you have to come into Social Security.
Well, you don't necessarily have to come in. You can get the form online. No, writing is not going to cut it. Even if you write, there are forms that you have to complete for each benefit that requires certain information to guide us as to whether you're entitled and so on and so on. So every benefit has an application form that you have to complete. And the prescribed time is to do that maybe 3 months before you get to 65. And within 3 months of getting to 65. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't apply during that time, you cannot apply ever. You need to apply for your benefit once you made your contributions. But if you do it within that time frame, you have a better chance of getting your benefit just as you qualify
So
for
you can
it.
do it just before you leave.
You can do it just before you attain the age. The only thing is, if you're still working up to 65, contributions are due on your behalf until the week in which you turn 65. So if you turn in 65 at the end of May, your contributions for May has to come in by the middle of June for us to get your complete contribution history before we can process your claim. If you stopped working a while and no additional contributions is coming in and you apply early, then we can put things in motion that by your 65th birthday, your payment can be ready.
Okay, on the telephone, are you there? Yes? Sorry about that. The numbers again are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097-616-4257. You're calling me on the off-air line, so please call me on the on-air lines in the red light. No, call me on 449-3095-9697. I won't be able to take calls off-air this time, okay? So please, let's continue that conversation. Call me live on air. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097-616-4257. These are the numbers you can call. Are we done with the issue of the self-employed at this time? We done?
Far from it. Far from it.
No, we are not.
Continue. All right.
Yes.
Let's
So I
continue.
wanted to add to that from 2009, Social Security. So prior to 2009, self-employed persons could only access long-term benefits from Social Security. That is age, invalidity, age pension, age benefits, survivors benefits, invalidity benefits, funeral grants. Okay, but from 2009, the package of benefits were extended for self-employed persons to allow them to qualify for short-term benefits, that is sickness and maternity. So if the self-employed person is ill for whatever period of time that they're unable to work and earn income, they could make a claim to Social Security once they meet the qualifying conditions in order to receive sickness benefits. Likewise, for a woman who is pregnant and has to stay away from work, she's unable to work in order for her to have a baby or nurse the baby. So they could also apply for maternity benefits. Okay, so the self-employed person, the only benefits that they won't qualify for currently that Social Security offers is the employment injury benefits. And that is, obviously, you can imagine, because of the nature of their work and the reporting that is required for the employment injury benefit.
But I guess it depends on the nature of the work. If I'm in construction, I'm self-employed.
Well, you would be able to qualify for, if you're in construction and you work for yourself,
Right.
as a self-employed person, then and you get injured on the job, for example, you can qualify for sickness benefit because you cannot work and earn, but you would not be able to qualify for the employment injury benefit package, as opposed to somebody who is a construction worker who is working for an employer.
Oh, okay. I get
Okay,
you.
so
Yes.
that's what I was saying. For self-employed persons, you work for yourself, you earn for yourself. When you cannot work because of illness, you can claim for sickness benefits. So Social Security will replace 60% of your income or your earnings for that period that you cannot work because of illness.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am, Mr. Madel. Optimist this afternoon. I have another question, or maybe I just want to make it quick. One, let's say I worked home for a certain amount of years. What is the quota like? If it's 10 years, how many credits do you need to have to
Qualify?
to be entitled to Social Security? Here in the U.S., it's 10 years or 20 credits for you to be entitled for Social Security. There are other things that come into play that you can get Social Security because they have different kind of Social Security benefits in the U.S. If I work, or let's say I am not there, but I have Social Security, I used to pay Social Security at home. I want to continue to pay make my contributions. I would make contributions until I am 67, but I have already met the criteria, the 10 years or the 20 credits, however it is at home, I'm not sure. And I would pay until age 67, then I come back home and I want to start getting my Social Security. Do they pay retroactively? Because here, if you go over age 65, when you're entitled to Social Security, when you start filing for your Social Security past that age, they pay you retroactively. Do they do that at home? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Similar situations arise where you are required to make a certain number of contributions cumulatively over your working life for you to access a pension. Yes, you can contribute from where you are to augment what you had by the time you left. You could have left at a time when your number of contributions that you had accumulated by that time were sufficient for you to access a pension, or it might have been insufficient. If you make those contributions voluntarily because you're not on island, you're not working for somebody else, you're not working for yourself, there is a provision which we also intend to speak to shortly for you to pay voluntarily into the program and increase your chances to qualify for a pension down the road or to enhance the pension that you will receive. You're supposed to qualify, you become pensionable at age 65 in Dominica. You're supposed to apply by that time. If you apply at 67, you apply in late, you will probably have foregone, you will probably have lost 1 year's contributions because under the law, when you apply late, the earliest from which we can pay you is 1 year prior to the date on which you make the claim. So for all intents and purposes, if you apply within 1 year of turning 65, we will pay you from your 65th birthday. If you claim 1 month, 1 year and 1 month later, you will lose 1 month of contributions. We will still pay you 1 year back. If you apply at 67, we will pay you 1 year back, so you will have lost 1 year of benefit. There is also a provision that when you become eligible for pension, if you apply for the pension at the appropriate time and you ask us to defer payment of the pension to you, you can earn interest on that pension from the date you become entitled to it because you defer receipt of the payment. Nobody, as far as I know, has exercised that option. The percentage is 6% per year on the pension if you apply for it on time and ask to defer the receipt of it. Applying for it late, you cannot demand and expect to get that interest because when you apply late, it's not that you applied and ask us to defer. You just apply late, and when you apply late, you can even forego some of your benefit by applying late. In fact, if you apply later than 3 months after turning 65, you must present a letter of excuse of some sort to say why it is that you're applying so late. It doesn't matter what excuse you come up with, we will accept whatever excuse. But once the 3 months after your 65th birthday has elapsed, you have to provide a written explanation as to why you are only now applying.
All right, do we have to continue?
Yes, so I just wanted to say, Matt, that something that we have noticed is that a lot of persons, because for the self-employed in particular, because they are the ones who have to inform us of the income that they earn or their earnings in order for them to pay contributions, a lot of persons think they are robbing Social Security by declaring an earning which is probably less than what they actually make. We just want to highlight that it is the payment of contributions, as we always say, that will give you access to the benefits that Social Security offers. And if you pay minimum as a self-employed person, obviously that will affect the quantum of benefit that you receive later down when you come to apply for your pension, for instance. So self-employed persons, by declaring little earnings just so that you can pay little contributions, you're not actually robbing Social Security, but you're robbing your own self because you're denying yourself of receiving a higher benefit when it is time for you to claim for your pension just because you have declared small income.
Yeah.
Somebody's making a point. Before we move on, somebody's making a point, man. Is that okay? It's the 15th and I've not received my pension in my account.
What is that?
He says it's the 15th, meaning that today's what?
It's Thursday the 15th.
Are you saying he's expecting his money's in his account and he has not received that? Is there any?
How is the person getting paid? Fortnightly or monthly?
All right, I'll find out. I'm sure you're listening, caller.
No. There's some people have an expectation that the pension is paid on the fixed date every period. It depends.
Okay.
If you're getting paid every fortnight, your benefit will be in your account every 2 weeks.
Okay.
If you're getting paid monthly, the weekend which the benefit will reach your account will depend on how many weeks there are in the month. So when there are 5 weeks, they will not get it by the 14th or the 15th.
Okay.
They will get it in the following month. This month is a 5-week month, right? May. I believe May is a 5-week month.
Mm-hmm.
So
expect to get it when? If it's a 5-week month?
No. So we pay. Okay, let me explain. We pay fortnightly benefits in the first week of the fortnight.
Okay.
We pay monthly benefits in the week before the last Saturday in the month. So we pay in those pensions in advance of the due date. So for the month of May, for example, we made a fortnightly payment on the 30th of April. That's for the fortnight that started on the 29th of April, ending on the 10th of May. The fortnight that started on Monday just gone, the benefits are in their account all now, so as we speak. But if the person is monthly paid, the benefit will be in his account next week because May happens to be a 5-week month. Ordinarily, maybe in April when it was a 4-week month, it might have been there by the 15th, 16th.
Okay.
So they're expecting the same date in May, but it's a different date. We have a calendar that we give to them that tells them they need to be guided by the calendar. The green section on the calendar says when the fortnightly pension will be in their account. The yellow section says when the monthly. They mustn't expect the money to be there every time, but except if it's fortnightly paid. Every 2 weeks, it will be there.
So, partner, pick up your calendar from Social Security, okay? Thank you very much. And now, somebody's asking, speaking to the issue of the self-employment, can a homemaker contribute to Social Security?
Yeah, that is what Mr. Etienne was saying, yes.
Yes.
The housewife can register
Yes.
as self-employed. They declare their earnings. So without even receiving any physical cash in hand, a housewife can register with Social Security and pay contributions. And if she gets sick, she can actually make a claim once she have the required number of contributions that is required to make a claim for sickness benefits and receive up to 60% of that.
I wanted to make a point to elaborate on that.
Okay.
A lot of self-employed people tell you, I do get a salary. I cannot pay myself. The system is not asking you to be paying yourself. The system is asking you to make provision for you to be able to get income when you cannot work. I like to tell people, imagine you running a business. You're paying your contributions for your workers. You're not paying yourself a salary, but you're operating the business. Assuming that you tell us you're paying yourself a salary of $1,000. You never touch $1,000 in your hand. But you tell us you're making a salary of $1,000. You never get that. And you pay contributions to us as if you're making $1,000 and you sick for a whole month. You're getting $600 from us for the month you sick. When you work in, you're not getting anything. But because you tell us as if you're making $1,000 and you pay contributions on that, you get benefit on the salary as if you were making that salary. So we're not asking you to pay your salary as contributions. Everything is based on an earning. It's a percentage of your earnings that you're paying as contributions. And it's a percentage of those earnings that you will get as your benefit. That is why, as Mrs. Lloyd was saying, you should declare earnings to us that very closely approximate what you're actually making. Because what you make will determine the lifestyle that you live. And if you pay contributions on salary that is way below what you're making, when we give you a benefit down the road, you're going to see myself even lesser because Motica even less $1,000, you can buy more $600. But if you pay contributions for $600, that's what you will get because you pay contributions on an earning and you pay your benefit on those same earnings.
All right, somebody's making a point there. Actually, I'm trying to see if I can understand. The Dominica Social Security is, I believe, the second largest investors in Dominic and the National Bank of Dominica. Both of those institutions hardly pay dividends. Does it not make more sense for the DSS to invest in funds in places where there is a better return on the investment?
Now, what kind of places are those?
You see,
we do have investments in Dominic National Bank. We are a local institution. We have to support what happens locally. But we have to find different ways, different means of augmenting our investment returns. But at the same time, we have to ensure that whatever investments we make are safe. Safety is paramount for us. We have to ensure capital preservation. When we make investments, we have to ensure that even if we do not always receive returns on those investments, we cannot afford to lose the capital outlay. The amount that we put out, we cannot afford to lose it because that's contributors' money that we invest in for us to make returns on. But even when we do not get returns, we need to ensure that we protect those amounts that we put up there for investment.
Just imagine the direction that we're going in now, where everybody will be able to access everything and then see their contribution on their phone. And then after we have invested in unsafe investments. And when you come for your pension, tell you you have money. So it has to be, as Mr. Etienne was saying, it has to be as secure as possible.
Just a question, don't you insure, if you want to make an investment, don't you insure that investment now?
Insure how?
For example, I know there was a big controversy a couple of years ago that you insured in a big insurance there in Trinidad and Tobago. I can't remember what investment it was. Did you not secure that investment?
How you secure it? When somebody offers you an opportunity to place
But that crash, so you lose money.
$1 million. Which one are you talking about? You're talking about the insurance company?
Yes.
The Clico thing?
Yes.
Well, okay, that might be the only, as from the history of Social Security, and you didn't lose everything. You don't get back all your principal, but at least you got back something.
Mhm.
No, when you make an investment decision upfront, you're not sure what lies around the bend, but you're making the investment decision based on the information that's available to you now.
Mhm.
And if it looks promising, it looks safe, you take the chance and you do it, and you deal with the consequences later. But that is why we are very prudent in our making of our investments.
Mhm.
We recognize that right now our investments are too highly concentrated in this region. All our investments are in EC dollars.
Okay.
Most of it in Dominica, some of it in the region, OECS.
Okay.
So if something happens to the region, it means everything can go under. There has been talk for many years for us to invest outside of the region, in the US, for example. But we have to be very cautious with that, and we still actively contemplating doing that. So we can place a small portion of our investments out there, not so much for returns, yes, for returns, but also to diversify the portfolio, so that if we were to have a major catastrophe in the region, that all of our investments would not be lost. We would have some buffer from investments we have outside in the US.
All right. And let's continue the discussion here. It's already, what time is it? 2:48. We don't have too much time, moving quickly. Any more points that you
I
want
just
to make?
wanted to take it a notch back to Mr.
Okay.
Sanderson's discussion on the ongoing digital transformation.
Okay, sure.
And just to highlight that, one of the key things from that digital transformation will be to improve our service delivery to our contributors, to our insured persons. So with everything, every change that you make, you have to get familiar. So the staff would have to get familiarity, as Mr. Sanderson said, with the new system and everything. But in the long run, the long-term benefits for it would be twofold, not only for Social Security, but for our contributors out there who would have more access, easier access to the information or to their records at Social Security, for one. And two, it will speed up on our efficiency to serving our customers. Probably for now, there may be some delays in terms of people getting service from us because of that new system, but just to say that it's a transition period that we are going through from an old system to a new system. There are a lot of records we have to ensure that everything is accurate. And so there may be delays, but we expect our customers to have a little patience with us while we go through that transition period.
Question: if I'm a voluntary contributor, could I be denied a pension?
You only deny a pension if you do not meet the number of contributions required to qualify for the pension. And if you fall short of that, you will still receive a lump sum. And to qualify for the pension, you need to have a minimum of 500 credits, 500 contribution points, weeks, 10 years of contribution. We'll describe it in different ways. And the person that mentioned about the voluntary contributor, the intention is not for you to pay to get 500 weeks and stop. A lot of the people that express interest in voluntary contribution, they come and they tell you how many contributions I have. You tell them they have 400, they have 350, they want 150 more, they register and they pay 150 and they stop. There is a danger in doing that, because until you become pensionable, you should continue to contribute, because if you pay the 150 to make the 500 and you get to 65, when the number of contributions required changes from 500 to 600, you will fall short of the pension.
All right, many of our young people are migrating to work or for work. Is one factor which will affect the system. Can people who are working abroad make contributions to the system?
Yes, we're talking about voluntary contributors. Again, voluntary contributions. If you're working in a country where we have no reciprocity, and that is places like the US, the UK, other places, but we have reciprocity with CARICOM. So if a Dominican national works in a CARICOM country, at the end of the person's working life, they will benefit from their total contributions that they make across CARICOM wherever they would have worked.
Okay. Let's take a voice note there.
Matt, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your guest. Matt, I really was listening when you started with them, but I had to run. So I get back. I have a question though, because I don't know if they addressed it already. If they already addressed it, just tell me. When somebody is just about approaching 65. The Social Security right to them, just like when somebody's are going to get at a retired age or state on a job, a government job, does Social Security right to the person or persons to let them know, listen, in the next 2 months, you will be you'll be entitled to get your Social Security benefits. I want to know if they don't do that in Dominica, because here in the DVI, like 3 months before, they let you know, listen, you're going to be 65 years, and then it's time for your benefits. So get ready for that. Bring what you have to bring in, and that's it. I want to know if the Social Security in Dominica does consult the people to let them know, get ready for the pensions.
We do, we can. We have done this in the past. We had stopped when the age was increasing, because what age do we tell you you're approaching? Right? So when the age was moving from 60 to 65, we had stopped, because we cannot tell you you're approaching pensionable age when the age is sliding. When the age was 60, we wrote to them and tell them, according to our records, you are approaching retirement. Please complete this application form to access whatever benefit you're entitled to. Since the age settled at 65 in 2021, we have attempted to do this. But the unfortunate thing is that once a person registered with us, their information, their address was never updated. And we would have sent the correspondence to their last known address on our system. And if they're no longer there, the forms come back to us unclaimed. So we wondered whether there was merit in just printing for everybody who is approaching 65 in the next 2-3 months and tell them, we notice you're approaching, and sending it out en masse. And we don't know who's going to get it, if they're ever going to receive it. So we have to weigh the cost benefit analysis of doing it. But it's something that we've done, it's something that we can do. And it's something that we've done in the past. So it's just that the last time I intercepted several that they returned to me from the post office, and I happen to know some of the people from my community I called. Some of them might have been dead, some of them migrated and stuff like that. So we will send it to the last known address that they registered on how many months ago. They no longer that address, it would come back to us unclaimed. So to the extent that we have their correct addresses, we can in fact inform them. But going forward with the new system, they will be able to, once we have email addresses for them, they will be able to send out emails to them to inform them that they are approaching the age and to apply.
Commendation coming to you guys there in the studios from Mr. Isaac Baptist. He said, I really wish to recognize and praise the Social Security officers in studios. They're very well informed and professional. Keep it up, guys. Employees of the other state-owned institutions, please take note and be guided. So a lot of praise there to you guys there. Thank you. Hello, on the telephone.
Thank you, Mr. Baptist.
Are you there?
Yeah, I do. Matt, I want to ask the Social Security man a question, and I want him to answer me on here, and I'm to ask him another question after. I want to know why every January 1st, Social Security going up. Answer me. When you finish, I have another question.
All right. Is it every first?
Social Security is supposed to be a system that is continuous in perpetuity, indefinitely, until thy kingdom come. It's not supposed to disappear, because every and anybody who ever participates in Social Security expects to get their benefit when their time comes. For reasons of sustainability, longevity, survival of the system, we have to make changes. We made some changes from 2012, the increase in the age. Imagine it taking us 20 years to realize a 5% increase in contributions. There is a big gap between the rate at which we collect contributions and the rate at which we pay out benefits, because it's contributions you pay to get benefits. This year we're contributing, employees contributing 14.75%, say 15%. And when you're sick, you're getting 60% from Social Security. So for me to pay one person sickness benefit, I need to collect contributions from 4 people to pay one person sickness benefit. When we pay in pensions between 30 and 60%. Right? So for the system to continue to do that for the indefinite future, we have to make changes. So there was a gap between the amount of contributions coming and the benefits going out. So we needed to close that gap. But we chose as management, because we were thinking of the fact that we didn't want to make this to burden some on contributors. Let us make that gradual. Take a 0.25% increase every year for 20 years. And when we do this January, it's just a reminder, it was set in law that every year the rate will be this, that, how it goes. And every January, we just do it as a courtesy to remind people that that's going to happen. And every time it comes, it's as if it's a new thing. In hindsight, we wish we had beaten the bullet and put 1-1-1-1 and finished. We would have finished how many years ago? We almost there, we're closer to the end than we have. But going forward, we still may need to do that in the future to minimize the burden on future generations.
Are you there, scholar, still?
Yes, I
Go
still
ahead.
there.
Okay.
Now, my second question. Picture now, you working like maybe in a normal restaurant, they don't call it no name, no warrant, and you there for 30 years, and for the next 20 years, your salary is the same $412 a month. So now every year, Social Security can go up on your $412 a month.
All right.
So, but I understand the concern, and people always say the salary is not increasing. No. If salaries increase and contribution doesn't increase, your contribution is going to increase because the percentage will be applied to a higher salary. If your salary increases, the contribution will increase, you're still going to pay more contributions. The only thing is that you might get a little increase in the amount that you get in your hand. But whether your salary increase or not, we have the commitment to pay your benefit when the time comes. And for us to be able to ensure that we can do that, we have to increase the contribution to the system.
Someone's in a question for me on my phone there.
Okay, you can answer.
Someone's asking me about for employers who deduct payments from the employees' wages, but do not pay to Social Security. From my end, I can say with the technology increasing and employees being able to verify whether their payments have been made, this will bring transparency to what is being done. Yes, we have cases like that, and it is sad to know that employees only find out when they call us or when they make a claim to find out that their Social Security was deducted, but the employer didn't make the payment or is now trying to make the payment or make it late. With this increase in technology, at least they will now be able to check
monitor
live and see, okay, yes, my employer is paying or my employer did not pay. So then you can bring your employer to task. Yes, that's all.
Before me say it in I just want to say, Matt, too, that this is one of the reasons why we have hyped out our public education campaign to persons so that employees can be aware of their rights and their responsibilities, both employees and employers, with regards to the Social Security program. Because we want to tell employees that just because you have a salary slip in your hand stating that a deduction is being made for Social Security, you should just not take it as
for granted.
That those contributions actually reach us, because there are instances whereby many, well, I cannot give an accurate amount as to how much, but there are instances where those contributions are deducted and they don't reach Social Security. So we encourage your employees to periodically check in with us. As Mr. Sanderson is saying, going forward with the new system, you'll have easier access, so you can do it from the touch of a phone or your computer. You don't necessarily have to come in or call into the office, but currently you can call in, you can come into the office to check on the status of your contributions. Don't wait when you're about to make a claim or when you reach later down when you need to claim for your long-term benefits such as your pension, to come and inquire whether your employer was making contributions over all those years. Because what may happen is that at that time, that employer may be dead, the business may be closed, and it makes it more difficult for us to get those contributions into the system.
Question: if a couple have been living together for a number of years and the man dies, will his spouse get a pension? And if so, what percentage of the man's pension would she get? And how and for how long? Interesting is a woman asking that question about man dying. What about the other side?
Yeah, interesting question. To say that Social Security is not static.
Yes,
a lot of things change over time, and things will continue to evolve.
Yeah,
to cater to reflect our prevailing reality on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So historically, a man would not qualify for survivor's benefit if his wife died.
Mm-hmm.
There were times when in the past, a woman could not qualify if she was gainfully employed and earning a certain salary. Yeah.
Right.
Changed again that if you were receiving two benefits, yours and your partner's benefit, you would receive the higher of the two and no more.
Okay.
Because today we are paying the higher of the two and half of the other. When your partner dies, if your partner was a contributor to Social Security, and your partner had qualified for pension, let's say, it depends on when the partner dies. It can happen at any time. But the partner had been making contributions that would give him or her access to benefit. They meet the qualifying conditions, but they just did not. Well, the contribution requirements are satisfied, but they didn't reach the age to get the pension, and they die. They would have had entitlement to that pension if upon his death, or upon her death, upon the death of the person, their surviving spouse would qualify for a survivor's pension, which would be half of the pension that the deceased person was getting if it was already in payment, or would have qualified for if they had not yet qualified for, attained the condition for them to get it. The person would qualify for half of that benefit. The other half would be available for distribution among eligible children. Children, for the moment, who are under 21, unemployed, unmarried, and at school, or if you have a disabled child, a child who might have been born physically or mentally challenged, irrespective of that child's age, that child would qualify for that benefit. In the absence of a spouse and or children, if you have a parent or grandparent above the age of 65 who was dependent on you when you were alive, that parent or grandparent would get the benefit.
Another question there quickly there, Matt. I put in my claim or statement 7 months after I was 65. So how long do I have to wait?
7 months
after he
turned 65?
After he turned 65.
Okay.
So he put in that claim a little late.
So he had to issue a letter of excuse saying why he was late.
Okay.
Within a couple months, by 3 months, about 3 months after making the claim, everything should be in order. Especially if we had to wait for contribution records to complete this history. If, as I said, if the person had stopped working a few years and nothing new is to come in, and the last thing we have is, let's say, 7-10 years ago, their last contribution, all of that is on record already. It won't take that long. But if we have to wait for recent contributions to come in, then it would be delayed a little. But within 2 to 3 months at most, people should get their payment. But the payment will start from their 65th birthday, except if they claim more than a year late.
Okay. The questions continue to pour in there. I'm giving you a little more time. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Well, Matt, yes, Matt, good afternoon to you and to your guest in studios. Matt, I always took that thing very serious when I go to work with anybody. 3 to 5 months after, I go to Social Security to find if they are paying anything in for me. And I believe people should take that very serious too. But Matt, I'm trying to ask Mr. Etienne, what
you're trying or you're asking? Which one? You're trying or you're asking?
I'm going to ask him. The word slipped my mouth like that fellow. Isn't there a thing, laws that say people should pay and if they do not pay, what happens? Because I don't believe Social Security should be giving people time.
It's not clear.
I think he's trying to say if there's laws to punish, if you will, employers who do not pay. That's what he says. Are you there? Yes, I think that's the point.
Okay, we need to discourage employees from taking on the employers when they find out the employer is not paying for them. Yeah? They mustn't take on the employers. If they give us the information or they bring that to our attention, under the law, we have authority to do certain things. We just need to know that they are working, how much they're making, that we can know how much we are assessing the employer for owing for them.
So you are responsible for taking that employer to court?
Yes, we take them to court. They can be fined and confined, and the contributions will still be payable. Now, I must say here that the court process is very slow, but we do have recourse to the courts, and we do get results when we get to court. But those things take time. So the earlier we can become aware of the liability and take steps to recover it, the better for everybody. Now, if you wait too late, as Mrs. Lloyd alluded to earlier, chances are we might not have any access to an employer at that time. The person might have died, the person might have absconded or run overseas. We have no access anymore. But if you do that while you're actively working, and also please do not make the mistake to collude or connive with your employer not to pay contributions, because you're shooting yourself in the foot. Some people do that. They say, I'm not interested in a social security thing, though I don't even want to get registered. They tell you that as the employer, and you're suffering, you fall for it because, well, maybe when you don't take from them, you don't have to pay from your resources. But when we find you out tomorrow, you are responsible for paying the full amount because you're an agent. The law holds you responsible for deducting and paying the contributions on behalf of your workers. And if you fail to do that, you will be found wanting.
On the telephone, are you there? Oh, sorry. Let's move to the next call there. We're going to give you 5 more minutes and we'll wrap up. Yes, hello. 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 Yes?
Yeah, I was calling in to the program.
You're not.
You
Are you calling into the program or you're not calling in?
I am calling into the program.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question.
I want to ask a question. Basically, the gentleman answered the question I wanted to ask, but he said that within a period of 3 months after filing, you should get a benefit. But it's been like 4 months now since I've filed. I haven't gotten anything yet from Social Security.
You want to give them your number? Your numbers?
No. Can you call the office and give your specific? Because I don't know why we like to resort to this. We cannot address your personal thing on the air. You have access to the office. Your situation might be different than what I'm describing. I'm saying on average, within 2 to 3 months of somebody applying, they should get their first payment.
So they should call Social Security.
Yes, call the office to inquire what is the position. If you applied late and there were outstanding things, we might be trying to, sometimes we have to try to reach him to confirm. Historical records have a name, and is that you? Did you work that place? All kind of things like that. So everybody's situation is different.
All right. So give Social Security a call, okay?
And I've been to Social Security.
He said he has been to Social Security. Yeah?
He has been to the office. Okay, but it doesn't hurt to just call again to get updates.
Call and get a sit. Yes, call
so
and
they
call
can
him
tell
again.
you where it is.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Let's take our final call. We'll wrap it up for the afternoon. I'm going to invite them. I promised before to, and they'll take more questions when I do invite them. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yeah.
Hello, Matt. Can I apply 5 months after I'm 60?
And you apply 5 months after you're 60? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I thought it was 65, but that's a question.
Yeah, that's the pensionable age. You become pensionable at 65. Until you are pensionable, you can still continue working. You can continue to contribute and get protection from Social Security. So 60 is a thing of the past. You become pensionable at Social Security. And I like to say the law says pensionable, not retired. I like to use the US as a point of reference. I know in the US, when I studied there many months ago, they had what you call affirmative action. They were promoting policies to protect certain minority groups.
Right.
And I like to use that as a point of reference that if in the US you are the law says you become pensionable at 65, it means until you turn 65, you are employable. You should still be able to get work. And if an employer refuses you employment simply because you are older than 60 and everything else you was qualified, you could take action against them and you could have won your case. Because they're discriminating against you on the basis of the fact that you are older than 60. You're not yet pensionable, so you can still work. There is a provision that says you can apply anytime between 60 and 65, but when you do that, you are going to receive a reduced pension, because what is going to happen ultimately is that by taking it from 60, you're going to enjoy it for 5 years longer than you should enjoy it, because when you qualify for that benefit, it is your death that's going to end that benefit. We don't know when you're going to die. We don't know when you're going to die. So you know me and my twin sister. We are twins. Let us say both of us, everything about us is the same. We work the same places for the same length of time for the same salary. And my sister figures she too tired to continue working. She applies for a pension at 60, and I wait to take mine at 65. And we go out visiting our family in the country, and we get into a vehicle accident. We die at the same time. Everything about us has been the same. She got her pension from 60. I will get mine from 65, and we die at 75. We will have received about the same thing. She took it 5 years longer than me, and I take it 5 years later. So what the system is doing is equating your pension that you enjoy that much longer, because we don't know how long you're going to live. And everybody that comes and tells give them their pension early saying, I don't even know if I'll live to 65. That is true. But no, trust me, if you don't live to 65, you're not going to be there, you're not going to have a need, and you're not going to miss the pension. But if you are there at 65 and you take it at 60 and you lose what, and I already see, I do calculations for people, and thousands of dollars they lose in a year, you know. Thousands of dollars they lose in a year when they take it early. Now, people's situations vary. Some people get out of work at 60, they have nothing coming in. We cannot very well tell you to wait. You're not sure if you'll live to 65. You can take what you get and you live with it. But some people are still working, and they come in and take the pension early. They're depriving themselves of additional coverage. They're depriving the system of getting additional contributions. That is not the intention. You pay your contributions, you know that if you do what you have to do, the system will be there to give you when you need it. When you need it, not sooner, not later.
Our final call, yes?
You know what, Matt? I'm going to play that number I'm calling you in the lottery. That is the third time I used the same number and I got you. Whoa.
Oh, very, very lucky. Yes, quickly. Our final call.
Okay, final call. I don't know if that applies to Dominica. I'm just asking. In the U.S., you can be married. Let's say you work or maybe your spouse. You only get one, and it's the highest of whichever one that you get, yours or your husband. But if the person's been married and been in the marriage for 10 years or more, even if you are divorced, you are still entitled to your husband or wife benefits. I don't know if that applies in Dominica. So the person can be married 10 times. You make your contributions, you reach all your quotas and everything you're supposed to reach, and you've been married. As long as you stay in each of the marriages for more than 10 years or more, you are entitled to your deceased spouse benefit. Do they do that in Matt? That's why I love America, Matt. Thank you.
You're enjoying a lot of marriages, I imagine, huh?
Oh yes, Matt. I'm enjoying my deceased husband.
Ex-president.
Yeah, that the last marriage.
The last marriage,
Oh,
yes.
I guess.
And right now we give you the high of this one half of the other. So if you contribute yourself, you have entitlement in your own right, and you also have entitlement to receive half of your spouse's benefit. Sometimes the half from your spouse is higher than your full. So we will pay you the half from your spouse and pay you half of your own. Again, things happen at different points in time. Sometimes your spouse dies before you become entitled to yours, and you would have enjoyed the half from your spouse.
Imagine that, eh?
Yeah, or sometimes you could have been in receipt of yours before your spouse dies. But at the time your spouse dies, you become entitled to half of your spouse's benefit. And now you become entitled to two. We have to compare the two, pay you the high of it, one half of the other.
Imagine I'm married at 26, I get divorced or whatever, it's 36, I marry again at 46. Oh my God, that's money rolling in there. Boy. But anyway, let's wrap it up here for the afternoon. I'm sure we'll come back soon, but a very, very educational program this afternoon there. Thank you, Mr. Etienne. And
You're
your
very
staff.
welcome. We're waiting for the invitation in June.
It will be soon.
Sometime in June.
It will be soon if God gives me life. It'll
Just
be
to give your audience an opportunity to get a little more.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank
please. We appreciate the
All right.
opportunity.
Thank you all the time. Come back soon, okay?
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Education. Sparrow.
Education, this is the foundation. Our rising population needs sound education to be recognized anywhere you go. Have your certificate to show to enjoy any kind of happiness. Knowledge is the key to success. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you won't catch red hair. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be your misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. For employment, yes, employment, you must be intelligent. It's essential, very essential to have your credentials. But if you're block-headed like a mule, no one will employ a fool. You'll be the last one to be hired and the first one to be fired. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you won't get red hair. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be your misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. Don't follow your companions, or you will get burned. To earn, you got to learn.